Alright guys, welcome back to another video by George Movies, and today I'll be reviewing Daredevil Born Again Season 2, which I've absolutely loved from beginning to end. This season was an absolute masterpiece in my own opinion from a writing standpoint and televising perspective. This season hooked me from the start and I loved every second of it. This season was the genuine definition of peak. I have no problems with this season, and the season overall was perfect anyway from my writing standpoint, so I will take a deep dive into why that is. This season started off pretty slow, which I didn't mind because that leaned into the development of these goated characters, so that bumped up this season for me. I also really liked the writing decisions and risks this season took. It actually had the balls to take certain directions, write characters out, or just killing them off entirely. This made this season way more engaging for me, and by the time I finished it, I felt so immensely satisfied. This season could not have turned out the way it did, and I don't expect it being any better than this. A genuine masterpiece of superhero television, and I meant that wholeheartedly. I usually don't praise media this much, but when it satisfies me this much and gives me everything I wanted and more, I have to talk about it in this way. Words cannot describe how perfect this season was. Everything about this season was just absolutely incredible. I'm trying to use different words, but even then, that doesn't do this season justice in any way, shape, or form. Everything that this season showed me was everything I could have dreamed of. The characters in this season were incredible. I don't have any flaws with how they were written, acted, or portrayed. Buck and Daniel were just a huge highlight for me, and I loved all of their scenes together. Seeing Buck and Daniel was really hard to watch, and that set up the finale perfectly. I was expecting a much different finale, but what I got in return was something I wasn't expecting in any way. It flipped my expectations on its head in a really great way, and I was not expecting any of those twists besides the ending, which some person decided to spoil. You know who you are. Anyways, I still adored this season from beginning to end, and nothing is going to change that. There is not a single flaw in this season that I can think of, and by that I meant genuine writing mistakes or character assassinations. This season had none of that. While Born Again Season 1 had a touch of that here and there, mainly because of the pre-overhaul crap, but the new guys actually made the character assassinations good. But this season had not a single issue in sight, and that's apparent in the premiere of this season. This season started to unfold more and more with every episode, and I liked it more and more and as every week passed. It was such a great way to build up anticipation for every episode, and I eagerly anticipated for the next one every week. It was painful to wait, and I did do some things to ease it, but in the end, it still hurt, so you can imagine my sadness I have to wait the rest of this year for Series 3. There has been some discussion regarding Spider-Man 4 and how it involves the hand. If Daredevil isn't in it, missed opportunity, and they should bring him in, so we can give Peter a hands-on explanation of who they are and why they have returned. Punisher could maybe give him an insight too, but he only fought them for like 5 seconds in Season 2, so I'm not too sure about that. Either way, I hope they bring him into this film because Peter does need some help to fight the hand. Not saying he can't do it on his own, but Spidey is very friendly, so it would make sense for him. Daredevil and possibly Punisher to fight the hand, and he better be in costume for this too. Fully red and everything with the double Ds and full throttle. If we don't get this in Brand New Day, I will be sad, and it will be a bit confusing as to why he's not in it, because Marvel can clearly put him in it because there's no rights issues. Anyway, I still love this season, and I will continue to discuss why that is. This season shocked me in a lot of ways that I wasn't expecting it to do. It had so many risks taken, and I want more shows to do this because it's very ballsy, and these decisions enhance the narrative by tenfold. And when I say that, I really mean that. The death toll that happens in this season is disturbing to think about. A lot of innocent citizens get sent somewhere else to build stuff for the mayor, which is really disgusting, and the mayor gets a taste of his own medicine when his wife gets injured by Bullseye and basically killed herself in the process, which is really dark to think about. They sent Kingpin into a ballistic rage that has him massacre a bunch of civilians that are rebelling against him. culminates in an epic conversation between Daredevil and the mayor. It also has a really great symbolism as it discusses a devil confronting a person who thinks that's the savior of New York, and a battle to a somewhat death do us part commences, which leads to a bunch of dark patches along the way. This entire season is extremely disturbing, and you feel that throughout this entire run. It gets more bleak and intense every passing minute, and the more you think about it, the more you get sad. Not just because you have to wait a year for season 3, but because the character you loved ended up in a place you didn't want them to end up in. But at the same time, it makes sense from a writing perspective because they did so much for the city that they ended up in prison. It's such a shocking reveal and will probably be an important plot point later on in the MCU. The street level MCU has come back in full throttle, and I'm very interested in this area of Marvel now. I low-key want to watch all the Netflix Marvel shows I haven't seen because I do want to show how I personally feel about them. I reckon I'll enjoy them a lot though. I could even like Iron Fist, who knows? Probably not though. Anyways, this season was peak, and I highly recommend the watch. Every second of this season was immensely precious in my eyes, and I loved every second of it. This year has been great for me. I've got to watch a lot of shows and achieve a lot of things. I thank y'all for all of your support, and until next time, peace y'all. Stay tuned for my next video. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss another upload. Cheers, guys. Oh, and by the way, I give Season 2's finale like an easy 10 out of 10, no question. So that makes Season 2 a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. I love this thing. Please subscribe.